Welcome back, everyone, to the Affirm Opulence Podcast. We're on episode 9, which means we're ready to jump into another chapter of the science of getting rich.
Always exciting to see what golden nuggets we can pull out to help us craft those really powerful affirmations.
Absolutely. Each chapter feels like a stepping stone on this path to opulence. And today we're going to be looking at chapter 9.
How to use the will.
Yeah, and when I first read this chapter, I have to admit I was a little surprised.
How so?
But I thought it was going to be about using willpower to, almost like force the universe to give us what we want.
Right, yeah.
But Wattles actually says that's not the way at all. In fact, he even calls that approach unethical.
Yeah, that's such a key point. Wattles is kind of turning our usual thinking about willpower on its head. So instead of willpower being like this external force we're pushing outward with, he's saying it's about this inner direction. It's all about mastering our own thoughts and actions.
So I guess the question then is, what does that actually look like in practice? How do we shift from trying to make things happen to aligning with that natural flow of abundance that Wattles talks about?
Well, I think it all starts with realizing how powerful our thoughts and beliefs are. Wattles talks about this creative force of the universe, which he calls substance, and it's constantly responding to our thoughts. So it's not about us begging or pleading for things. It's about aligning our thoughts and actions with what we want to create. We have to hold that vision with this really deep sense of knowing.
Okay, so instead of saying, for example, I'm desperate for a new car, it's more like
I am driving down the highway in my brand new car, the wind in my hair, enjoying all that freedom.
wow, that's a much more powerful statement. I can feel that already. But where does willpower fit into all of this?
Okay, think of it like this. Your will is the captain of your ship, and your affirmations are the compass guiding you towards your destination. You're not forcing the ship to move, you're setting a clear course, and then using your will to stay on track. Even when doubts or fears try to blow you off course.
Ooh, I love that analogy. It really brings home the point that we have to stay focused on those positive, abundant thoughts.
Yeah.
Especially when things get challenging,
Totally. And that's where affirmations become so powerful. They're not just these empty words we're saying. They're the fuel that keeps our will strong, aligned with what we truly want.
And that brings us to something else.
Yeah.
Wattles emphasizes the danger of dwelling on what we lack. It's like he's saying, don't give those negative thoughts any airtime.
Absolutely. You know what they say? What we focus on expands. If we're constantly worrying about bills or feeling jealous of someone else's success, we're just feeding that energy, and we're going to attract more of the same.
Ugh, I know that feeling all too well. It's so easy to slip into that negative spiral. So how do we break free? How do we shift our focus to abundance, even if our current circumstances don't seem to reflect that?
Well, it all comes back to using our will to consciously choose thoughts that are aligned with what we want to create. So let's say you're feeling broke right now. Your affirmation shouldn't be, I want to get out of debt. It's more like,
I am attracting financial abundance into my life.
Exactly. You're moving away from that feeling of lack towards a sense of possibility. You're stepping into your power as a creator. And that's what empowers the universe to rearrange itself, to match that new vibration you're putting out.
Wow, this is so empowering. It's like Wattles is saying, we're not just victims of our circumstances. We actually have the power to choose our thoughts. And when we do that, we create a new reality.
And that power is within each of us. It's not a special gift or talent. It's about understanding how this universal law works and aligning ourselves with it.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired to go rewrite some of my affirmations. This is awesome. But let's take a quick break here, and we'll come back and explore how we can use these insights to craft even more powerful affirmations.
Welcome back. We've been talking about tapping into that power of our will.
And how important it is to cultivate that abundance mindset, really through our thoughts, our beliefs.
Exactly. And, I'm so ready to get into crafting those supercharged affirmations. I know Wattles had some pretty interesting things to say about helping others. At first, when I was reading it, I thought he was saying we shouldn't give to charity.
Yeah.
But then he clarifies, and he's actually suggesting a very different approach to it.
Yeah, what's interesting here is Wattles isn't saying we shouldn't help others at all. He's suggesting that we shift our perspective. So instead of focusing on their lack, we should embody abundance ourselves. We should be the example of it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it's not about just handing out money or resources. It's about actually being that living, breathing example of what's possible, living proof that these principles work.
Precisely. Because when we embody that opulence ourselves, we become like these beacons of possibility for others. They see that abundance is achievable, that it's real, and that can inspire them to tap into their own potential.
It makes so much sense. Like, our own success becomes a form of inspiration, motivation for others.
It's a ripple effect, absolutely. But it all starts with our own inner work, right? And that's where crafting these powerful affirmations comes in.
Okay, let's get practical then. How can people listening actually use these insights to create affirmations that really work?
Well, first we need to remember that affirmations aren't just wishful thinking. You're not just hoping for something to happen. They're declarations of who you are becoming, what you are in the process of creating.
So instead of saying, I hope to be wealthy someday,
You'd say, I am a magnet for wealth and abundance, and money comes into my life effortlessly and joyfully.
wow, I love that. It's so confident, it's specific, and it really evokes that feeling, Like you already have what you desire.
Yes, exactly. And that feeling is key. It's about feeling the reality of your affirmations, not just repeating the words.
So what other tips would you give for crafting effective affirmations?
Well, a big one is to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. For example, instead of saying, I'm so tired of being broke, you could say,
I am financially free and abundant.
perfect. See? You're shifting that focus, you're moving away from lack and towards abundance, and always remember to frame your affirmations in the present tense, as if it's already happening right now.
Oh, right. So instead of, I will have a successful business, it's...
My business is thriving and attracting clients effortlessly.
This is starting to feel kind of like magic. Like we're weaving spells with our words.
Well, it's not magic, but it is powerful. And remember, your will is the sculptor of your reality, and your affirmations are like the blueprints. So you want to choose those words carefully and infuse them with the energy of belief.
I think that's where a lot of people struggle, actually believing their affirmations, especially if their current reality feels so different from what they're saying.
Oh, absolutely. That's a common challenge. I think the key is to start small, build up that momentum. You don't have to go from zero to millionaire overnight, right?
Yeah.
So choose affirmations that feel believable to you at first. You can gradually expand from there as you gain more confidence.
So instead of saying, I have $1 million in the bank, if that feels too far out there,
You could say, I am attracting new opportunities to increase my income.
yeah, that feels much more achievable. And I bet as you start seeing those opportunities pop up, your belief grows even stronger.
Exactly. It's this positive feedback loop. The more you believe, the more you attract. And then the more you experience, the stronger your belief becomes.
This is so inspiring. It's like Wattles is giving us this amazing roadmap. We can create the life we truly desire.
And the best part is it's available to anyone who's willing to do the work. It's not about luck. It's not about privilege. It's about understanding those universal principles and then harnessing the power we all have inside of us.
Okay, I'm ready to revamp my entire affirmation practice. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more point that Wattles makes in this chapter.
And that is?
He talks about how it's not enough to just passively repeat our affirmations. We actually have to impress them upon our subconscious mind, with feeling.
Yeah, that's so important. It's not enough to just say the words. We really need to feel the emotion behind them,
Like when I'm saying I am attracting my soulmate, it's not just like a mental exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I need to actually feel that joy and love
Yeah.
as if they were already in my life.
Exactly. You got to visualize yourself with your soulmate, feel that warmth of their presence, and let that emotion just amplify the power of your affirmation.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's like we're creating a vibrational match for what we want.
Precisely. And the more we embody that vibration, the more we attract it into our experience.
Okay, I'm getting goosebumps. So to wrap up what we've learned today from Chapter 9 of The Science of Getting Rich, it's about directing our will inward, aligning with the natural flow of abundance.
And using those affirmations to create the reality we desire.
Yes. And don't forget about impressing those affirmations on our subconscious, with feeling, with belief.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're listening and feeling inspired, I highly recommend you go back and read Chapter 9 for yourself.
Yeah, there's just so much wisdom packed in there. We couldn't cover it all today.
For sure. So really take some time to reflect on how these insights can reshape your affirmation practice. And think about those areas of your life where you want to experience more opulence,
Finances, relationships, health, career, whatever it is for you.
Exactly. Use these principles we talked about today to craft affirmations that really resonate, with your deepest desires.
And remember, this is a journey. It's not like a destination. Be patient with yourself, trust the process, and just celebrate every step you take toward that opulent life you're creating.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Chapter 9. And be sure to tune in next time for another episode of the Affirm Opulence Podcast.
Until then, keep those affirmations flowing. And remember, you are the architect of your own destiny. You get to choose what you create.
That's it for today, everyone. Keep shining your light and watch that opulent life unfold.